Hi, hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel, Hazel Anaka Design. Today's video hopefully will be a relatively short one. And essentially, I am recreating a project that I saw E from Scrapbooking with Me do the other day ago, a few days ago. And I will link her channel in the description box. So the premise, and this isn't the first time that she has invented something. So I was pretty impressed with what I saw. And it's like, so many other things. If you don't sort of jump on it and do it while the idea is still fresh, it gets replaced by, the next squirrel that comes along. So I made a prototype, and then I have another one ready to go, and I'll basically show you the process. So if imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, then hey, I'm imitating, and she should be flattered. Okay, so essentially you use two envelopes. The size doesn't matter, and you end up with. And I just did this with papers that were kicking around, and this will be my prototype that I'll put in my sample book. So you end up with a pocket here, a pocket here, a pocket here, and actually because I cut this envelope, or let me just see if I can, do I know what I'm talking about? I thought that this was, I guess I didn't cut that open. However, if a person cut that end of the envelope open, you'd actually end up with two pockets there. So anyway, to recap, a pocket here, a pocket here, a pocket here. You flip it over, and you end up with a pocket here and a pocket here. Now, because I ended up having to shorten this, because see, I need a little repair there. I tend to use an oval punch to make my little thumb holes. So, of course, it makes a wider opening than a circle punch would. And initially, this little pocket was covering half of that. So I ended up trimming this back, which means that now this is open. So there's an opening there and there's an opening there. So I actually got a double, so to speak. Let's find something else to stick in there. So anyway, this will become clearer. Now I will, like I said, put this sample away, and I will attach a Post-it or something saying whose idea it was, and just to, again, help one's memory. So let's put that aside. I will show you the folding or the process, and then I'll show you the one where I sort of have my decorative pieces kind of ready to go. Problem there. Okay, so she said it doesn't matter what size the envelopes are. It doesn't matter if they have windows or not. Of course, the wider the envelope, the more surface you have to cover. So if you're, it depends what you intend to cover with. And you'll see that with the second one I'm going to show you, that maybe smaller envelopes would have made my job easier. But anyway, you'll figure that out yourselves. Now this envelope is different in that it's got this gigantic flap. So if I were to use this one, I would cut that down quite a bit, because as it is, there is a fair bit of bulk. You've got both thicknesses. You've got, the two thicknesses of the envelope, plus all the papers get added to it. So let's just use this one. So the very first step, she used art glitter glue. I'm going to use a glue stick for most of it. So essentially, you're just sealing the envelope. Back up. Whoops. I'm gonna have this thing all beat up looking before. And again, you know, I know we all open our envelopes differently. My husband likes to cut it off very neatly with a pair of scissors at the short end. I tend to rip them open. Look at this one. I did that. Anyway, doesn't matter. And while I've got the glue stick in my hand, I will do the second one. It wouldn't hurt to have recommended that you should have a bone folder or something similar to be able to sharpen your folds and so on. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to pick the bigger one. Again, it doesn't matter which side is up or not. This one is 4 inches by 3, 6, 9.5, so fairly big. So you just randomly decide, you fold up one end to make a pocket. Now, 3, 6.5. You know, considering that a journal page, most standard journal pages are 8.5 tall, you know, that might determine where you want to do it. But just, it doesn't really matter. And if you end up having to refold, then you'll be just like me. I ended up refolding some stuff. Okay, so you got that fold. Then on this second one, you sort of position it in like so. And she kind of recommended about 1 inch from the bottom here. So you don't tuck it all the way in. You don't make it flush with the bottom, but it's about, you know, 1 inch or so from the bottom, from this crease. And leaving about 1 inch or 3/4 of an inch over there. So, like so. So, fold. Now again, how these things turn out is going to depend ultimately on how big the envelopes are that you're using. So this one is wide, this one is not so wide. Now you can see I have a little bit extending past. So essentially you just turn this back to make that skinny little guy here. Now, in this case, the two envelopes, I think they were identical, if I'm not mistaken. And as you know, I ended up having to trim that because of a problem with my notch. So that is that in terms of, you know, the folding and so on. So then, you know, the possibilities and the personalization of it all happens in the decorating. So we're going to put this one aside, and I'll show you another one that I started working on. I wanted to do a Christmas one, and many of you know that I am, or I think some of you are waiting for me to do something sort of kid-like, whimsical, so I thought, well, why not this? And I went so far as to glue this first piece down, and then I realized, well, what am I doing? I haven't turned on the camera. Before you know it, I'd have a second one made, and still haven't shown anyone anything. So just to let you know what's what here, this piece is covering that position there. So it doesn't need to go all the way down, and you can see I refolded here because I realized when I was putting some of my other things in place, if I try to keep that distance at the bottom, I was covering a fair bit of his face. So again, I don't think there's anything wrong with having to, you know, with adjusting as you go. So to save some time, just show you the book that this came out of. And I can't remember if you would have seen it yet or not, but I did a video recently on some Christmas books that I got. This is a very simplistic book, and kind of not very many illustrations in it, and giant banners of text. And then depending on the size of the envelope, I didn't have that many choices. I didn't really want that picture of Santa, so I tried to do the best I could with what I had. So let me show you the selections I made. Okay, so I did that piece first, and that's kind of the right order for the decorating as well, because it kind of has to be a little bit systematic. So then my next piece is for here. And again, I didn't totally get the size perfect because I wanted to do it in front of you. And I also, it's so easy to be out a 1/16 of an inch or an 1/8 of an inch, and then you're kind of hooped. So maybe it's simpler to put the glue on there, and then I know it's exactly where it needs to be. So I'm just using my Yoo-Hoo glue stick, applying it liberally to this bottom pocket. Now, because these things are still sort of open, you have the opportunity of trimming it to size sort of after the fact. So that kind of works in one's favor as well. Then you're not having to spend too much time measuring or whatever. You can just trim it after the fact. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And again here. Okay, is that what I wanted? Let me just be sure before I... here's my other piece. So if I have that about there... Yeah, Santa is still visible, and the piece I have for here will be... Yeah, okay. Good. Actually, this would probably be a good video to, after you heard the introduction, to just pause, go get some envelopes, and craft along, because, until you do one or two, there are a few steps to remember. Okay, so I've got that. Then, while we're still on this first envelope, this is what I picked for the back, because again, I didn't have very many choices. And luckily, I left it long enough that even with me changing the distance here, I have enough to cover it. Because in this particular case, you do want the whole thing covered. Now, the part I'm not so thrilled about is the fact that there's some text here. But we can slap on some kind of a decoration there. So, let's glue this baby down. I had to go into Edmonton today. Nails done. And hopefully now I'm back on my regular 3-week cycle and don't have problems with, breakage or too long or whatever. It's sort of something that works for both of us. And then I had to, but I chose to get my hair cut. And, ladies out there, when you find the perfect bra and you find the perfect mascara and you think, oh, I'm set for life now, that's when they discontinue it. and the search begins. So, of course, even worse with, you know, say a hairdresser or a doctor, dentist, you know, those kind of masseuse, any of those kinds of people that, you know, you sort of really probably did some research, developed some rapport with. They understand your hair or your teeth, you know, whatever the issue is, whatever the service is that they're providing. So when I phoned to make the appointment, they said that my person, Brooklyn, was no longer there. I think, oh, and well, you know, many of her clients are going to Cindy. I said, well, okay, we'll try Cindy. Now, when I was phoning to make the appointment, I thought, you know, I just got new glasses. Maybe it's time to, I'm glad I didn't cut that open. Maybe it's time to change up the hairdo a bit too. Basically, I just have, I guess, a bob, you know, shoulder length bob, part to the side, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, there's that guy. And I will cover that little bit up. So here's my first envelope, done. Anyway, the reason I started that whole story is because I was stunned that the roads were kind of bad. Yeah, we had a skiff of snow. And yes, it's, you know, maybe there's not even half an inch of the ground or anything. But, you know, when you sort of are losing traction at the first intersection, thinking, oh, this could be a long drive in. And of course, because it's been so busy, my husband always does the changeover of tires from, you know, summer tires to winter tires. Like we don't use all seasons. So yeah, it was, and you know, like even on this sort of this major highway, people were going 80 clicks, which is like 30 below the maximum. So at least, you know, kind of people were a little bit smarter than usual, I guess. Okay, so now the next thing is to cover this second envelope. And none of this is getting glued together until all the envelopes are covered. Oh, now that I've got both of these sides covered, I can put my little divot in. And I'm just eyeballing just to save time. Sometimes I actually do get my centering, centering ruler out and make sure it's centered. But let's see, do I put it, oh, and I put a divot in this. I guess I could leave that there. Put a divot in this one. And again, all of this is easier before things are glued down. Now, you can notice with these old book pages here that I did ink, because it seems to go hand in hand with that sort of aesthetic. On this, there's so much color that it would be kind of, I think, a waste of time and incongruent to even ink on something this bright and vivid. Okay, so that's that. Now for this was my plan. Again, you know, it's too bad I had to cut off some elves, but we can't really cut off more of that bear's face. Now, because this is going to be tucked in here, I don't have to go all the way to the bottom, although there is, I guess, the risk that that white will show. So maybe in this case, I will run this around the corner. So I'll put, in this case, I will put the ink on, not the ink, the glue on the paper as opposed to the envelope. Yeah, so anyway, I got safely to and from. I basically, no dilly-dallying. I just came straight home. Well, no, that's not quite true. I stopped at a grocery store because I am going to, like, I have a yogurt concoction every morning for breakfast, you know, with chia and pumpkin seeds and an apple, and it's really, you know, a meal with a lot of protein, and it does the trick for keeping a person satiated, you know, for a good long time. Anyway, it is looking increasingly like I shouldn't be eating dairy. So I went to the store to look for non-dairy yogurt. Oh, see, I better try, I'll use our glitter glue here for this little strip, just so we don't have the white of that edge to contend with. Anyway, I certainly hope it tastes like something, because, you know, you always pay a little more for premium for something that is out of the ordinary. You know, like celiac people will tell you that. I've got some. Is it time to change my sink again? Anyway, I guess we'll know soon enough if it tastes like something. Okay. And again, it is, holy cow, it is almost 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. So again, apologize for the lighting situation. One of these days, I think now I've got everything pretty well looked after. So it will be easier to stay at home where I like to be. See, that's still a little bit showing, but maybe, darn it. Should I worry about that now? I do have scraps I could just put. I could put a little patch in there. Maybe that's exactly what I'll do. Let's use this. Anyway. Oh, and tomorrow we will be heading into the city again. The daughter and the house and the progress that has been made there. The painting of the house should be just about done. I think the rug installers, they changed the carpeting in the basement, everywhere else hardwood. That should be done. So I think our job will be to continue assembling the patio furniture. Where is my pin? So yeah, never a dull moment. Okay, we're still working on the second envelope. Now, and of course, in a perfect world, I wouldn't have folded that while it was wet. However, we must carry on. So the next thing I'm putting is this one. Now, that white edge, I do have some slack here because, of course, that will be hidden. So I think I just better shave a little thing off the edge here, so that, where did I put my knife? This isn't the one, but anyway, it'll do. That teeny tiniest pocket will hide it, so. But I thought those houses were quite nice. So I'll glue that on. Oh, see, that would have covered a lot of that white there. Anyway, no harm done. The patch didn't hurt. Now I will line up the top and trim at the bottom. So I guess the point I'm trying to make with this project and these two very distinct styles is that no matter what you see on YouTube or in a book or anywhere else. Just always understand that you can adapt it to your taste, your supplies, your project, your aesthetic. So that sample of mine, of course, is sort of, you know, the vintage, shabby, not grungy necessarily, but sort of that vintage look, which, you know, kind of is a universal style a lot of people like. Why is this not? And again, of course, envelopes are usually never perfectly made. And then the opposite, you know, almost a polar opposite, is doing something this bright, this vivid, this youthful. And they're both going to be equally as attractive. And of course, anything else, any other thing in between. That white is still kind of bugging me. I might have to ink that with some blue just to tone that down. And then I should try to sharpen this fold a bit. Yeah, that's better. Okay, and then I've got this little reindeer. Okay, we dare not cut his nose off. So, again, I better trim, make it a straight thing. And then if we have to remove some of his butt, we will. Reindeer liposuction. Okay, now the unfortunate part about, oh, and our daughter-in-law from the States is here for the weekend, so we'll get to see her tomorrow as well when she comes to check out the house. Anyway, what I was going to say is the unfortunate part about not being home tomorrow is that I won't be able to watch Angela and Carol hosting the Q&A about the Makers Market. Now, I was one of the people that was interested and had done an application and so on. But of course, things are always a bit, you know, I'm a bit of an odd duck in that crowd, in that I'm, you know, in Canada. So I very much wanted to be part of that, or listen to that video and be able to chat and so on, ask questions and so on, because what are the implications for somebody who is not in the U.S.? Look how cute. So, I mean, obviously, I'll be able to watch the replay, and Angela said I could certainly give her a call or whatever, so we'll see how all that goes. But yeah, it's a timing thing. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, mind you, you won't be able to see this before the event anyway, so I guess I'll still put a link to Angela's channel, because again, the rerun or the replay will always be there, you know, even months from now. Okay, let me get back on track here. So we need a notch there and a notch there. But let me quickly find some kind of blue ink here. I think the blueprint. Whoopsie, not that one. Sorry, guys. Of course, it'll be the last one I pick up. And I have really relatively few ink pads compared to some people. Ah, there she be. Blueprint sketch. I have something that's ready to cascade here. Okay, we need a blue brush. I'll just basically just touch that edge a bit to tone down that contrast, because really that's the only issue there. It's the contrast. That's why one's eye wants to go there. I mean, it's so small you can barely measure it, but that doesn't stop the eye from wanting to notice it. Okay, so let's not make a mistake with notches this time. Oh, and the other thing that E suggested doing was rounding this particular corner, you know, to make it a little, kind of indicate it's a tuck spot. So I'm pretty happy with that, where it is, because his beard is still mostly visible. This guy's face is visible. Those little cute guys are visible. That's fine. Oh, see, now we have a little bit of an issue here. I mean, that's fine. I think if that's smaller than an inch, that's so what? Because we can't have a guy's nose covered. That would be terrible. Just his two little beady eyes. Yeah, okay. So, oh, I didn't do my notches. Oh, so this should be off to the side, offset, so that it's... Didn't do that last time. That's partly why I ended up with a problem. And then a shallow one here. Okay. So what we do on this side is, well, let me get my positioning right. Check the guy's face. Maybe I can go up a little smidge. Yeah, that's still pretty good. Oh, see, that was... I wonder, is that punch of mine kind of getting dull? Okay. So, hopefully you're as impressed with this idea as I am. I would say I am happy with that there. So, fold that down. Some art glitter. Since I moved it. Oh, see? Still didn't do that very well there. Okay. This paper is somewhat slippery. Let's try not to move it. And hopefully you can see. So I'm putting a bead of glue along here and along the bottom. And I'm folding. And I'm pressing. And I'm folding and I'm pressing. And where is my... the heck? I didn't put it away. I'm not that Johnny on the spot to put things away. Oh, there it is. Just a little extra pressure. Cool. Okay, then we're going to put some glue here. Make sure you can see something. And here. These colors are so vibrant. Okay, cool. Then on this side, we are doing this side of the little guy first. So, you know, this would work well with a digital set of papers, with well, you saw a book page, which we all have way too many of. Florals, you know, basically any little theme that your heart desires. So then finally the last bit of glue here is this last pocket. So side and bottom. Cover up your glue. And geez, I still haven't looked for my, it might be in my little pouch. I don't think I've seen it since I came back from the retreat. You know, that thing for picking up glue. Now, mind you, that might not work on this. It might make a mark on this shiny paper. Anyway, I think that's really cute. So, pocket, 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 pocket. Oh. No, he was saying, because I rewatched the video, because I guess she liked my comment. Anyway, so I rewatched the video, and she was saying both when gluing this pocket and this one to sort of push them inward, and it creates a little extra, you know, breathing space here. So if I do that, then this thing will be less visible. I'm not sure why that is there anyway. I'll just hold it for a second, and if it is still protruding, I'll trim it a smidge. Anyway, in the papers that she used, she had a couple of, I don't want to say bald patches, but she had areas that were kind of plain. So then she did a bit more decorating. And in fact, she added another little thing here and made a 6th pocket. But, you know, this is so busy already. Oh, see, and there isn't much of that showing. So that's probably the only thing that I would want to cover up. And I don't know, you know, I don't know at this point what I'd put there anyway. It might just be a little, do I have anything nearby? Like she ended up with a little smidge of lace on hers. Again, it needs to match the thing that one is working on. What's with the, oh, look at that little bit of rickrack. Is that going to look goofy there all by itself? I've never seen rickrack coming apart like that. I wonder if somebody did that on purpose. Probably, hey? Hey. And of course, you know, she pointed out that this is the kind of gizmo that you obviously just clip onto a page, because if you glue it down, then this was all wasted effort here at the back. I'm going to put, maybe I'll just tuck it in a little bit. And I kind of like those little tails flaring out of there. So I hope that you're sufficiently impressed with this idea, that you check out E's video, and that you make several, or at least one prototype while the idea is fresh, for yourself in whatever style turns your crank. Anyway, guys, that is it for me for today. It is getting close to bedtime, so I think these are pretty darn cool. And goodness knows there is no shortage of envelopes in this house. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.